Hi folks, my name is Pamela. Welcome back to the Sweater Weather Podcast. So my first FO that I want to talk about is what I'm wearing. It's probably so far my favorite thing that I have ever made. It is, of course, the Lento sweater. It's knit in a really special yarn, and I still have a skein of it left. So this is Cory Confetti in the colorway Gray Bow. And as you can see, this yarn has all kinds of wonderful little pops of neon color. It's so pretty and it's so soft. So this type of yarn comes from La Bien-Aimée, and it's a DK weight. So there's 230 meters or 250 yards per 100 grams. And it's 50% Falkland Corriedale and 30% natural recycled fibers and 20% La Bien-Aimée recycled threads. So it's super pretty. Like, look at this dark bluey purple, one of my favorites. Nice green, but then you have these lemony lime pops of green. It's super pretty. So yeah, I have a full skein. I haven't even opened that skein or touched that skein at all. So this is the Lento sweater. Actually, I usually wear it with a shirt underneath. It is very roomy. I have a lot of positive ease in the sweater. Let me see if I can stand up so you can get a better look. So this is very, very much like a sweatshirt. It's got a ton of positive ease, and it comes in a little bit at the ribbing, which gives it that shape of a sweatshirt. It's a raglan, top down. So I do usually wear it with a t-shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt underneath. I like that look, and I don't mind that you can see it here, but I just wanted to show you the sweater without any distracting features. So that's why I didn't wear a shirt underneath today. So this sweater is designed with a fingering weight held with a mohair, and then it's knit on a so the Lento sweater is knit on US size 10 6mm needles. The ribbing is knit on a US size 6 or 4mm needles. The sweater is designed by Jonna Heitela from Lina magazine. Super popular sweater. I think it was made even more popular by Rebecca Clow and Amy Palco. Rebecca has the Crochet Knitting podcast, and Amy Palco, of course, has the Meaningful Stitch podcast, and they ran a Lento knit along. I think that's where I got the idea. I didn't finish it in time to submit this sweater to the knit along, but they had so many positive things to say about the sweater that I thought this would probably be a great sweater to knit. It's designed to use a fingering and a mohair held double. It's 15 stitches per 4 inches. But I wanted to use this yarn, which is a DK weight yarn, which in a lot of cases is equivalent. If you're knitting a fingering and a mohair held double, a lot of times you can just use a DK weight yarn. This was a little trickier just because because it's such a loose gauge, there's no mohair to fill in the gaps. So I was kind of trusting and just decided to cast it on and see how it went and see if I liked the fabric. So when you cast the sweater on, it's a provisional cast on so that you can fold the ribbing over and then knit it together. So that kind of gives a nice finished edge to it. That was where I made my first modification. So the pattern calls for 1x1 ribbing and I changed it to 2x2 ribbing, and that's simply because I really like 2x2 ribbing. I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. Wherever I can substitute 2x2 ribbing for 1x1 ribbing, I go ahead and do that. And I did it here, but what that meant is I needed to cast on, so I knit size 4, but I needed to cast on 2 additional stitches. I had to change the number of stitches because when you switch from a 1x1 ribbing to a 2x2 ribbing, depending on the number of stitches, what will happen is you can end up with 2 knit stitches, the knit stitches at the beginning of the round and then the knit stitches at the end of the round. So what would happen is you'd be doing 2x2 ribbing and then you finish with a knit stitch and it's right beside where you started with your knit stitch, and therefore you have four knit stitches together, and of course that doesn't look right. That throws off the whole ribbing. So I had to add an additional 2 stitches to make sure that I ended with a purl stitch so that my 2x2 ribbing would look the same all the way around. But that could be why it's a little looser in the neck than you would expect it to be. I think most people's are more like this. There, of course, is some short row shaping in the back so that the sweater sits nicely. It's a raglan sleeve. So I have a 45-inch bust for reference, and the size 4 that I was knitting was already a 48-inch bust. So I didn't want it to have like no ease or negative ease. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just keep increasing until I get to the next size up. So that did leave me a lot of room. But what happens there then is you have more increases, right? So I have more increases from here to here. I don't mind that. I feel like it feels like a cozy sweater. I don't mind that I have all this additional fabric. So then of course I started getting very concerned about if I was going to have enough yarn. By my calculations, the size 4 was going to take me 5 skeins of yarn. So, and I wasn't even sure if I'd have enough there. So I didn't, and I don't like a cropped sweater, and the Lento is a cropped sweater, so I knew I was going to have to add some fabric there. Anyways, I thought I would go for it anyways. Worst case scenario, I would have to rip it back or perhaps order more yarn if it was available. For me, I like this sweatshirt feeling. I didn't mind the additional space. Having said that, if I was going to knit this sweater again, which I probably will, I would probably knit the size 4, and then I would probably just continue with the size 4 and not increase to the size 5. I think that I have plenty of arm length I like my arm longer. I do not enjoy a bracelet length. When I have a bracelet length sweater on, I always feel like I need to push it up. I don't enjoy that feeling. So I like long, and I like it longer in the body. It's shorter than I would normally have it, but I would not say it's a cropped sweater. Another modification I did is I added these stripes. So I added this pink stripe here on the collar, and then I added 2 stripes, kind of a pale neon yellow and a neon pink on the arms, and I also did that on the bottom ribbing. So I'm super happy with this sweater. It's cozy, but it's light. Like, it doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't make me feel overly warm. I don't have those tropical moments that I sometimes, people of a certain age, women of a certain age tend to get these tropical moments, and this doesn't send me into a tropical vacation of any kind. So I'm really happy with this sweater. I love the yarn. I would like to order this yarn in another colorway and make another project like a cardigan. However, the yarn was not inexpensive, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, I know that you all know how to go online and check prices, and although I did order the yarn because I was completely obsessed with it, and I still am completely obsessed with it. I love it. I'm not saying it wasn't worth the price. For me, it was, but I would say it's definitely on the pricier side. It's not a bargain yarn by any means. Again, I feel like it's worth it, but it's just so like soft and squishy. So the other finished object that I have is this 50/50 triangles wrap. I knit the largest size. This color is Juniper, and this color is Vintage Celadon. I added an I-cord edge to it, which I talked about in my previous podcast. And this wrap is everything that I expected it to be. This wrap did not disappoint. This wrap had a lot of hype over the past couple years, and it did not disappoint. It's gorgeous. So cozy. I know it's hard to get, like, oh, it's so nice. And this yarn, so this is the Pearl Soho linen quill yarn. I did order it for this project, and I'm, again, not sorry I did. This yarn wasn't super expensive though. Even with the exchange and that, I would not say that this was a super pricey yarn. It was more affordable, but you do need 6 skeins, and you don't use all 6 skeins. For each color, you use about 2.5 skeins. So or maybe even 2 1/4. So I still have a good deal of each color left. Not quite a full skein, but pretty close. So I love this. I love the way it looks. I am a big fan of blue and green. I would say that blue and green are my signature colors. Now, this is not a true blue. It's more like a turquoisey blue, but yeah, I'm a fan. I found this to be an extremely meditative knit. I did not find it tedious at all. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed being able to pick it up and just continue and not have to worry about, I knew where I was at all times. I didn't have to worry about trying to figure out where I was or what I was doing. Didn't matter how long I put it down for. There are so many things to recommend this knit. When it's small, you can bring it around. It's an easy sort of on the go type of knit. when it gets bigger, it's not as easy to bring it everywhere with you, but it can be used in the dead of winter. When I would be knitting, it would be lying on me as if it was like a blanket. So you're knitting and it's keeping you warm and it's nice and cozy, and yeah, I love this. Oh. So one of the things that I did want to mention is that when I knit something with saturated colors like this, I will often use color catchers in the water that I'm using to do the blocking. So I soak it first with some Eucalyptus wool wash or another kind. I have several different kinds. I have soak, and I have one other kind that I forget the name of, but that smells absolutely amazing. But I was a little bit worried that this super dark green would end up on this light blue. And I just want to show you. So I used a bunch of color catchers in the water, and this is what came out. So actually the green, I think, was pretty stable. The green color was pretty stable. It was mostly the blue that was coming off in the water. So I just wanted to show you what that looked like. So yeah, I did end up using quite a few of these. I just wanted the color to go onto the color catchers rather than redistributing onto the shawl. So I just wanted to show you that. I use various brands. Shout's a good brand, better than this one. I don't know the name of this one. I got it off of Amazon. Apparently my local yarn store carries them also, so I'll have to see what brand they carry. One of the ladies told me when I was at their knit night a few weeks ago. So that was something that I did that I really enjoyed. And I will definitely be going back to that again. I have to drive for about 40 minutes to get to that knit night, but I really enjoyed sitting with people and the community aspect of it. I liked that a lot, and it was definitely worth it, and I would like to do it again. Okay, so I'm not sure if how much I talked about this on my last episode. I think it was a whip at that time. I'm pretty sure I had not completed it, but this is a test knit for Cozy Up Knits. It was designed by Jamie, and it's so pretty. It's a cowl. Guess not all my ends are woven in. So you can wear it like this. You can wear it higher up if it's really cold. You can put it up, or you can fold it down to kind of make it more of a double. Now this is supposed to be a gift knit for somebody, and I'm not sure whether I should gift it to them as is, or whether I should add the optional liner. So I have this beautiful Surrey alpaca from Woolerton Estates. It's in the Cousin Burley base, which is Surrey. It doesn't have, I wish it had more information on the tag. The tag's really cute, but it doesn't have information about what the colorway might be or anything like that. So I considered adding in this nice Surrey alpaca lining, because that's part of the pattern. So you can either leave it as it is, or you can add in a lining. I think it could be mohair. I don't think it needs to be Surrey alpaca. But to me, the Surrey alpaca is softer, so that is what I was thinking of going with. I also have a really nice sort of caramel or toffee colored mohair that I think would be really nice with this. I think it would pick up the little bits of, I don't know if you can see them, but there's like little bits of toffee color in here. This pattern utilizes a dip stitch, if you can see that. And this made me more, working on this pattern made me more interested to use the dip stitch, use patterns with this dip stitch, because it's such a cool look and it's very easy to do. I really liked the way it looked on this cowl. I have plans to make the summer sorrel tee, and it also uses a dip stitch in the yoke area, and I think it's super pretty. So the lighter color with all the reds and pinks in it is Hypnotic Yarns Plush Decay in the colorway Apple Crisp. And the red is Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino in the colorway Cardinal. It's a nice deep rich red. I didn't purchase the yarn to make this project. I grabbed it out of stash. I did purchase this though, and I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to use this or maybe the mohair to knit the liner. Let me know your thoughts. Pop them down into the comment section. Let me know if you think I should knit the liner or if it's enough the way it is. Should I be worried that someone might find this scratchy? I don't know. So I finally finished this project. Oh, isn't it so pretty? These colors are amazing. This is the Les Petites Shows baby blanket. And I used a kit for this from Katia Yarns. So they ran, at one point they ran a knit along for this project. So they put together kits, and it's their design team, Katia Yarns, that designed the blanket. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the process. I liked switching out the colors in the pattern. The patterns were very simple to follow. I used markers for all the pattern repeats. It helped me immensely keeping track of all the pattern repeats and made the project a lot easier. If I had any complaints about the pattern, it would just be that for me, there's too many rows of baubles. I don't love making baubles. I think it's cute that it has baubles on it. So I really like this row of the soft blue. But then we had to do it again here. And it's got rows and rows of these pink baubles. And for me, that was just too much. I didn't like doing all those additional rows. I would have just left it to the original one row of baubles, I think. So if I were going to knit this sweater again, so if I'm going to knit this baby blanket again, and I probably actually will knit it again at some point, I would take out this section and replace it with something else that doesn't include baubles. I would leave in this original one and then just take this one out. I'm going to insert some pictures so that you can see the whole thing a little bit better, because it's so pretty. And the yarn is so soft. Like it's cotton, and you just want to wrap a baby in it. It's so soft. So I have whips. I have the Saturday Shrug. I'm not going to pull it out. I've hardly made any headway on it. It's kind of been put into the naughty corner, and it's not its fault, it's my fault. I think as I was knitting it, I was starting to realize that it probably wasn't going to fit me. I should have known not to cast on the same number of stitches as Jackie Rose. So I'm talking about the Saturday Shrug, designed by Jackie Rose. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's really nice. It's really elegant. It can be used in so many different situations. You can wear it with jeans. You can wear it to work. Like it's really nice. I'll insert some pictures. I started off really being enthusiastic. Instead of knitting it in different stripes the way she designed it, I knit it in mohair that was a color changing mohair, and it was working out really nice. So I was super enthusiastic. But when I realized this probably isn't going to fit me, I kind of just put it aside, and I could still gift it to somebody or put it aside till maybe it does fit me, although that's not something I like to do because I don't like to have things like that hanging over me. It goes against my whole minimalist having clothes in multiple sizes in case they fit me later. That I'm hoping I'm kind of beyond that, just in terms of not putting that pressure on myself. So I think gifting might be the way to go. But we'll see. I am going to finish it, but there's no point in dragging it out right now because it's pretty much at the same point it was 3 months ago in January when I showed it to you the first time. Maybe did a little bit more, but hardly anything. So I also have this, these socks. I knit them not in the traditional 2 at a time method, but I did knit them at the same time on 2 different needles. I really wanted to try the afterthought heel, which is what's going on here. So with the afterthought heel, you knit your tube, as I did, and then you cut in, put your needles back in where you want your heel to go. You go above the stitch that you're going to cut and below, and then you just go in with sharp needles and cut and pull it out, and then you knit in the round as you would a toe to create a heel. I haven't done this method before and I stopped. So I had fun knitting the socks. They're shorty socks. I did 30 rows of I did 30 rows of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, and then I kept going down the top of the foot, the top of the foot with the 2x2 ribbing. Then I Kitchener stitched the toe, and I did a gradual decrease on the toe, so it's not, it makes more, it's not as much of a pie shape, it's more of a rounded shape. You do a decrease, you knit 4 rounds, you do a decrease, you knit 3 rounds, do a decrease, you knit 2 rounds. So the rate of decrease is increasing as you get closer to the toe, if that makes sense. I knit these socks using the magic loop method on size 2 needles. Again, I used 2 sets of needles at the same time, and the yarn is Timber Yarn's Twin Sock, and it's in the Sweet and Savory base. It's got these really nice colors that I like a lot. Now I'm planning on using this skein, which was a mini skein, which is why it's hand wound. I like to hand wind my minis. And I believe this skein came with it, although as for the heels and toes, although I'm only going to be using it for the heels, as you can see, they don't match. I know that drives some people crazy, but it honestly doesn't bother me in the slightest, and I actually like it like that. So, however, because this was new to me, I just stopped. I was scared. I was afraid to cut it. I was afraid I wasn't seeing it properly. Oh, this is coming apart. I can't even tell if I've put this in the right. I need a good strong light to be able to tell if I've inserted this in the right place. So hopefully by the next time I podcast, these will be done. From time to time, you may hear me talk about some of my other pursuits. Recently, for example, I have fallen down a plant rabbit hole. Isn't that pretty? So this is a prayer plant, and I just learned this recently. First of all, I did not know that you could grow plants on a continuous basis, just in water. Just changing the water and make sure there's oxygen in the water, and sometimes adding some nutrients to the water. This is completely new to me, but I think it really has a cool look. I wouldn't want all my plants to be sitting in water, but I think this one's just really pretty. And this is called a prayer plant because at night, or I should say in the evening after supper, the leaves fold up like praying hands. So the leaves are like this during the day, and at night they kind of come like this. They don't come all the way closed, but so the idea is praying hands. Anyways, I'm kind of in love with my plants right now, and I've kind of fallen down a YouTube rabbit hole of caring for plants. Isn't that cute? I find that these add a little pop of color in the spring. In my previous home, I had a few plants, and hardly any really, but a few, and I was absolutely distraught when we moved and I had to get rid of them. I did not even have time to give them away to a home. I had to throw them out. When we booked our movers to move from our old home to this home last year, we specifically asked if they move houseplants, and they said yes. So we didn't even try and move them ourselves or save any space for them. And when the movers showed up at our house, they said absolutely not. They don't move houseplants. And we were going, like the car was full. That was it. We were leaving. So, when I think about it, it honestly just breaks my heart. The plants that I had in my home were from plant bouquets that people had given me when my mom passed away, and the plants were thriving. I wasn't really doing anything, and they were just growing, and they were so beautiful. And yeah, my heart just breaks. So also at my previous home, I had a lot of outdoor gardens. So I had a lot of flowers on my deck and in window boxes throughout the growing season. And I would often do like container gardening with tomatoes and cucumbers and that sort of thing. And I really enjoyed it, specifically the low maintenance, like container gardening. But I find as I've gotten older and with the fibromyalgia, even having a minimum amount of gardens is a struggle. In my new home, I plan to have a few raised beds and some containers, but nothing close to what I had at my previous home. I just would not be able to handle the upkeep and the maintenance. So anyways, houseplant. I love to garden. I love plants. So from time to time, you may see some gardening shots in my videos. It's always going to be a knitting podcast, but I do have other pursuits. I like to read. I do art from time to time, although again, that's something that I haven't worked on in a while. I mostly work with pastels and some watercolor, so I may add in a bit of that from time to time. But I haven't worked on that since we moved here either, which is kind of a shame. I do find that to be a very relaxing and meditative activity as well. Okay, so one of the things that I did want to share with you also was this book that I got. So Amazon suggested this book to me probably because of the number of knitting books I have already ordered from Amazon. So this is Patty Lyon's Knitting Bag of Tricks, and the small print says over 70 sanity saving hacks for better knitting. I'm using this cute little bookmark that's got a little sheep on it. Isn't it cute? I had ordered a knitting needle case to organize my needles. I ordered it from Etsy, and she included this sweet little bookmark with the little sheep on it. And yes, now I have lost my place. What I'm enjoying about the book is all the information is provided in little bite-size amounts. So I can pick up the book and just read a small section of it each day and learn something new. So she talks about cast on, construction, she talks about gauge, but they're just in bite-sized little pieces. Like, so this part says like row gauge. Why you gotta be like that? It's, anyways, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's a book that I can read all the way through. I'll remember some of it, but maybe not all of it, but it'll end up being a good reference book. Even if I remember, oh, there's something in that book about twisted stitches or how to join a new yarn ball. Like, there's all kinds of really good information. The bonus part of this is that I mistakenly ordered two books. So my loss is your gain, because I think as part of my next giveaway, I will include this book so that somebody else can enjoy the book as well. So I'm not sure exactly when my next giveaway will be. I'm thinking maybe 1,000 subscribers, and then I could throw in a few other things or have more than one giveaway. Okay, so something else that if any of you watch Chevy Rell, you'll probably be familiar with these little yarn holders. She calls them yarn condoms. I really like that better than yarn holders. I ordered this one. It's from the same place that she orders them from. It's a maker from Etsy. So this one says, I'm nicer than my face looks. This one says, I'm a blank ray of sunshine. And this one too. I knit so I don't kill people. So I have another one too. I can't remember what it says on it. But it's cute also, and they work really well. Like, they hold your yarn really well, and you can pull from the center. I usually don't pull from the center because I find that I end up with a big mess, but these little yarn cozies really help keep the yarn together and makes it easier to pull from the center. And then I have one other quick thing to show you that I bought. So I'm in Canada, and in Canada we have a bulk store called the Bulk Barn. I had to think for a minute. I was thinking it was bulk bin. They have bulk bins, but I'm pretty sure it's Bulk Barn. Anyways, so that's a franchise in Canada. I just don't know if it's anywhere else. If it is anywhere else, it's probably in the United States. But again, I'm not sure if you have it or not. If you are in Canada, one thing that they have, so they have these little snack bags. I'm gonna hide my face so you can see it better. They have a zipper, and they are lined with like, I think it's like a water resistant sort of lining. I think these are the perfect size to put your knitting notions in. So what I like to do, I bought quite a few of these. This one's cute. It's like there, that's better. Rainbows and unicorns and castles. And it's got a zipper as well. What I like to use these for, and I have a few of them, quite a few of them, are just to throw in, like, it's nice to have some bags where you have scissors, your measuring tape, some stitch markers. I like to throw in reading glasses, everything that I need for on-the-go knitting. I like to have in these little bags, and then if they're all pre-stocked with all your knitting notions, when you are grabbing your knitting to do some car knitting or to knit, if you have to wait somewhere and you're bringing your knitting, you can just toss one of these little bags inside. And the great thing about them is they're only $9.99, and that's $9.99 Canadian. So like US, that would be like $7 US. Anyways, I think they're cute. They're made in Canada, it says. And I don't know if you can get them anywhere else, but I think they're really cute, and I really like the patterns. So highly recommend to use as little notion bags. I think they're just the right size for that. Something else that I bought that I thought was really cute, similar to the yarn condoms, was this little basket. It's very dense. But it's the perfect size for a yarn cake. Well, this is a smaller yarn cake, but I put bigger yarn cakes in there, and it was great. And then you can feed the yarn through these little handles. It was only like $2.99 at IKEA, and I think it's really nice looking. So it could be used like a yarn bowl. $2.99, and it's pretty. Like, it's nice. I like the neutral colors. I think it's cool. Okay, now that I'm showing you this, so I want to work on a project, summer sweater. I want to use cotton. Last year I bought some Pima cotton from Wabi Sabi in Ottawa. So it's this Cascade Yarns Pima cotton. It's 100 grams, which is 220 yards. So I think that would be considered a DK weight cotton. And I got it in a lot of really nice, what I think of as like summery colors. Let me see if I can hold them all together. So there's these two colors. So I think that what I would really like to do is a knit t-shirt with this Pima cotton. I think you can really see on the video that is coming across that this cotton has a sheen to it. So it's kind of silky. So I imagine it would be really nice and drapey. I think it's possible it would work out to be a really nice striped summer cardi, maybe cropped. So I've kind of had that in my mind. But I also thought even just a striped summer t-shirt might be nice. I love these colors. They give me summer vibes. I don't know if this one's really coming across, but it's almost like a pinky lavender, very light lavender. Here's the pink, so that you can see a little bit better now that it's like lavender. Oh, and you can really see the sheen there. Anyways, okay. I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining me. See you soon.